We are moving into a very dangerous territory where we value work and we value the coin over relationships. We are willing to sacrifice our personal relationships, being with each other, okay, we want to send our kids to private school, but at what cost? So that is my question to you all, is like, at what cost?
Let me ask
what if you can't afford?
What
if you can't afford what you value?
2 kids. Yeah.
Okay, you're a CPA. You do very well for yourself, I'm assuming, right? Life's good, right?
Yeah.
You're sending your kids to private school. You're living in Jupiter, Abacoa. I know it very well. How does it work in your relationship? I assume you have your provider, your protector, but you're also very present with your wife. How does it work? Does she ever complaining you work too much, or she's like,
sure,
honey, you're crushing it, keep fucking going. I love what I'm doing in life.
You know, it ebbs and flows.
Give me your
so
story.
When we started out, she made more money than I did actually in our earlier relationship.
Do?
So she used to be a recruiter for a biotech company. So she recruited scientists over from the dark side to the dark side of sales, basically. And I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And then I found it, and then eventually, once we had when she got pregnant with our son, is when she decided to become a full-time mom, and now she teaches yoga for private parties, and that's kind of what she gets to do. And then also as a mom, which it's not earning income, but it's working. It's definitely working. So and at the same time, it goes in ebbs and flows. I think that when you own a business, you're always on, and so there's definitely times when she's like, hey, put your phone down. But then there's also times, we were just talking about this, where at least a couple times a year, we take 5-6 days and go away, just the two of us, and we don't do anything. And we just finished, we were just in the Keys. Our kids went to snorkel camp for like Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. We got a full day every day just to be the two of us. At our anniversary in September, her parents flew out, and we had 4 nights at a hotel, and we just like literally laid on the beach and did nothing and hung out. So I think it's in order to sort of have both, it's got to be periods of intense focus where you are a little distracted and maybe not connected, but as long as you're balanced, it's not balance, it's balancing, and you're going back and forth and taking that time to be present. And like we try to wake up before our kids. My daughter wakes up super early, so we try to get that coffee time, and then occasionally, we'll put the kids to bed, and then we hang out together for a little bit afterwards. Or lunch dates are a big thing when the kids are at school. And so we try to, sneak it in, but it's definitely a period of time where I'm distracted and doing work, working hard, especially during certain busy seasons, and then taking time to just totally disconnect and do that too.
I think that's the perfect world, if we're being really honest. I think having a man that is like that can be successful, that can be present. Unfortunately, I don't know. Sometimes you can't have that.
It's work. It takes work. It takes intention. Just like, if you climb up the ladder and then it's on the wrong wall, then you're at the top of the ladder, but it's the wrong wall. I think it's critical to do that with your life and figure out what you want. And it's been a work in process over a decade plus of figuring out what works and what doesn't. So
I also think it's a matter of also like, it's important that you have certain values and things, but what if you can't afford the things that you value? Like you're living a lifestyle where you're able to take a vacation with your wife and send your kids to those places. Like people who make no money don't get to do that. People who make no money, they have to be at home. They have to wake up early. They have to work their butt off. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Like they don't have options. And I think a lot of the time, especially today, it's kind of frowned upon that women may consider, the amount of money a man makes before they make a decision to date them and be with them is frowned upon. And it's kind of a shame because I think as a woman, you also want to consider like your family, your kids, your husband, the lifestyle you want to have for them. Like that also takes money. And I think sometimes we just think like, oh, money, materialistic things, that's what goes together. But a lot of the times we forget money gives you options. Money gives you the opportunity to look in different areas. Money gives you the opportunity to send your kids to private school. And of course, that's going to take sacrifice and time. But again, it takes effort to also keep your relationship, any family, if you have money or no money, like it takes that effort, and time is going to be distracted and pulled away. But I think in a perfect world, women are like, we just care about the man. And of course you want to have good values and have those things about a man. But I think you also want to, especially today with how expensive things are, that should be something important. You know, you want to consider how much is this person making, how much am I making, what sacrifices need to be made to live the lifestyle we both want.
But think about if your wife judged you like that when she first met you. And think my godparents have been married for 40 plus years, and they tell me stories about burning chili and, you know, my godmother being in tears because that was the only, you know, money they had to buy the beans for that week. He's a very successful lawyer. They retired on a golf course. They're part of an amazing community in Phoenix. Think about if my godmother was like, no thanks.
Oh, the same thing with my wife. We wouldn't have been, you know, like I
right?
said, when we started, she was making more money than I was. So I think with that, it's more about earning potential and ambition and what are you talking about when you're talking about how you want your life to look. And when we were having those conversations early in our relationship, when I was still in grad school and she was working and going to school at night, you know, we had big conversations about building big, cool things together.
Tyler, is your wife still working?
Teaches yoga a couple times a week, but primarily I'm the main
She's no
provider.
longer the breadwinner.
Right.
Okay, so something's changed in the last decade.
Yes.
Where she went from the breadwinner and you were just kind of starting off your career, and now you're the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
She was an investor.
Yeah, there we go.
Gotcha.
She was the
So,
investor.
yeah, well, that's how, it's funny how that works, because if your wife was still the breadwinner and you were still figuring it out 10 years later,
that would be
buddy, she would have cut your ass off for 10 years ago. No offense.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that you figured it out, you've made money,
Yeah.
and now she's teaching yoga, even though she was the breadwinner a decade ago. That's the moral of the story right there.
What's really cool, so she quit her job when she was pregnant with our second, and what was really interesting about that is the moment she did that, my income went up significantly. Because
Why is that, by the way?
I think number one is I got
like, oh shit, I got some kids to take care of. Yo.
But number two, when you're both working full time and you have children, everyone's burnt out, everyone's exhausted and at each other's throats. When one person can focus on raising the family, and I try to be a great dad too, but like running the family is a full-time job. Yeah. So then also doing a full-time job on top of that, everyone's burnt out in that scenario. So we got to sort of take the pressure cooker valve, open the valve a little bit on that, so I could then focus on growing my business without feeling guilty about it. And then she got to be with her children, you know, with our children and do that. So
partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
If you were in a company, your CEO, it's a partnership.
And she's the CEO. Exactly.
Is your husband partners with you in your business?
No, my husband has his own family successful business, and they've been at it for 40 years. So,
gotcha.
You know, but there was a runway.
In terms of income, does he make the majority of it?
All of it right now.
He makes all of it.
So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another, or if you want to watch the entire Soscast, click right here.